sell a product like software solution, you need to establish trust and you need a brand. Brand means that your target audience knows who you are, knows what you are stand for, and so they trust you. In the following interview with Mia Bastos, we will learn how to succeed on social media and how to build a brand. Mia has a lot of experience with social media, brand building, and she's co-founded the company Aurora Music. Before we go to the interview, here are a few most important lessons that I took from this interview. First of all, it can be quite overwhelming if you look at competitors and see how great their content is, how professional it is. You don't have the abilities and resources in the beginning to do this kind of quality, but that's okay. You can start with what you have and continuously improve. The advantage of startups, they can take risks. They don't care about company policy. Because of that, you can be creative, you can stand out, and you don't need thousands or millions of followers to build a brand. You just need a small number of relevant followers on one platform. You don't need to use different platforms because that's too much effort. And nowadays, each platform requires different type of content. So you cannot easily reuse the same content on many different platforms because they will not perform well. On most social media platforms like Instagram or even worse, Facebook, the organic reach is very limited. So it's a good idea to combine that with ads, or you can partner with micro-influencers with the same target audience. Those were some of my takeaways from this interview. And if you need help choosing the right marketing channel, we have a course in our community that gives you step-by-step instructions how to do that. You can access it through masterful.info, and the first 7 days are for free. And now let's move to the interview. Today, we are going to talk about building a brand as a startup, the advantages, maybe disadvantages, but also how to do that.
I think we are going to bring this interesting vision to this podcast, which is like the differences between the personal brands and the startup brands, why they are rising.
Yes, absolutely. I think from my perspective, there is so much content out there. And if you build a brand, that's the good way to stand out from the ocean of competitors.
Yes, I feel like everybody is in the internet right now. Probably your investors, probably the people that are going to work for you or work with you. And if you're going to the internet just to track your followers, just to build some leads, or if you're going just to make some network connections, even though content is going to be a powerful tool in this journey, it's going to get you exposed to more people. It's going to educate people about your business. That's my way of attracting instead of being always chasing.
I had the same experience since I started this podcast. Whenever I have sales calls, it's a total different atmosphere. They are much less skeptical, kind of. They don't even ask for references anymore. Before that, they were always choosing between 50 different experts, and they were fast. They were, okay, have you done the same thing? Please show me the reference. And now I get so much already trust before they even start, and it's so much easier.
I don't know if I have ever built like any business that people wouldn't track me before, wouldn't get some that I wouldn't get some validation because of my online presence. I think everything that I've been building and participating would involve people building credibility and trust and using as a reference your content creation. What are you doing online? This is an important stage of our era right now. And the interesting point is sometimes I see people from startups doing more content creation than artists or doctors, veterinarians. They're doing sometimes more content than musicians. And that's huge.
It can also be overwhelming. Everyone is talking about building a personal brand or brand for your company, for your startup. And then you post some content and no one is looking at it. You don't get followers.
We have to pass this barrier because making viral content, it doesn't mean that it's going to attract the right people for you. It doesn't mean that it's going to make you sell more. I have a very small channel called Artista Pro and probably has only 6,000 followers on Instagram. But this Instagram page already sold 1,300 courses.
Wow.
So the conversion rate is high and the amounts that I invested for this number is ridiculous. So sometimes I would post a content that would get like less than 100 likes, but it would make 1 or 2 sales. We should pay less attention with the number of views and just making the first step as finding our way to communicate and to educate people about your product.
I think what many people miss, what also I missed for quite some time, it's not about being well known for many people, like Brad Pitt or something. It's about being well known for a very small group of people. It can be, for example, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, where they see your content over and over again. And suddenly you are a brand for this small group of people. And they start trusting you and starting interacting with you and buying from you.
Yeah, I feel like this is the concept of building community. And this is so powerful. I had the experience of building a community for young artists, independent artists in this project, Artista Pro, and they follow me when I build my startup. So when I launched my startup in 1 week promoting only organically, I got to 300 users in the platform. So I didn't have to invest again to make them aware of something that I was releasing. They were curious because it was another product that I was behind of it, like I was releasing. And that happened also when I had this project and I was invited to work for a company to do some publicity for Stream Music, which is a platform for data so artists could get money in advance. Very interesting platform. And they hired me to do some content creation for them, and they got access to my following base because whatever I would say it, and when they would see my face, they would trust so much that they would engage. So it's such a powerful tool to build community, because even though you have a project that fails or a project that you're going to be involved just for a while, you're going to have people that will support you along the way.
What would be the first steps that you would recommend to SaaS founders to start in this direction in building a brand?
I think at first you need to choose the right channel for your product. For products like, in my case, we're building music with AI. Suno, Udio, reviews and YouTube content is where producers are to educate themselves. The music producers are on YouTube educating themselves about how to create this drum set, how to record this guitar. So they're looking for this content in this platform. So you gotta position yourself somehow through content creators or in your own channel, but educating these people that you want to attract in a long form video. Educative
Interesting.
video.
Long form, not shorts or reels.
Yeah, because it's not deep enough to answer their questions. Okay, so you need to understand your product. But maybe if you have a product that is an app that people will measure calories, maybe they will be more successful promoting on Instagram. If you are starting a startup, you need to understand that you have low levels of energy because your energy is spread through so many tasks and you have a small team, or probably you are the only team, the only person in the team. So you got to choose wisely where you're going to put your focus on social media. If you try to do TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, a blog, YouTube, Reddit, you're going to get lost along the way.
Oh, yes. I've seen it over and over. Companies, startups, they are publishing on all those platforms and then they have 3 likes on average and they invest hours every day, or their employees, and it's not worth it to spread yourself thin over so many channels.
You got to know that the content is different for each platform. So let's suppose you go to an event like Web Summit. Okay, it's super interesting for you to have some posts on LinkedIn to mark your presence there. Probably if you have a specific audience that is not connected to business, is not going to care about your presence in Web Summit. But people that might be interested in investing on your project, they need to know what phase your startup is. Are you raising money? Are you looking for advisors? So if you communicate with this audience, it's important to be in the right platform. But the thing that I'm noticing that is changing and that it's a bit exhaustive for us as content creators is that the same content for every platform, it just doesn't work anymore. Even cuts from podcasts, that was such an easy thing for us to do. Cut and put on Instagram, and it's not working that much anymore.
Yes, I realized that last year.
Yeah, we gotta understand that the communication is evolving in each platform and keep track of this.
There are different expectations from the content on each platform. If I'm on YouTube, I'm okay with longer form content. But if I'm on TikTok or on Instagram, then I just need a quick fix kind of. And if I'm on LinkedIn, I'm more about education and connections. So you cannot use the same content. And the problem, I think, is that the competition for attention is so high, so that if you are not optimal for this type of attention, for this type of channel, then you don't have a chance.
Yes, the competition is crazy. I'm from the old generation of YouTube. The competition, it raised so fast in the last years because we have people from any type of business producing content. People that are very weird.
Dentist.
Like a dentist is not so weird, but there are people that have their routines about how to raise chickens in a farm. And it's super interesting to see it. The competition, besides a lot of entertainment content, when you're trying to educate, when you're trying to do something that is more advertisement, it's complicated. You have to adapt. And this is a bit out of our comfort zone to adapt this content for this entertainment communication.
Yeah, entertainment and education combined, and also maybe sales. That's a really potent combination, and maybe we can explore that. So maybe we can have an example. Imagine it's accounting software as a service solution with some AI magic or something. So kind of boring, but still, what would you suggest to this company?
I think first put a face on it. Give some job to an influencer, but I think it's good for us to highlight the importance of these UGC creators because they give life to products. They explain sometimes in an easier way that the people that are full in the company would make it so complicated to understand something that sometimes is simple. And then you have a perspective from the outside that will see your product and have such a way of communicating about your project that is easy to use, more interesting or funnier, or I don't know, more charismatic. And so I think when you put a face on it, it's easier for you to explore also archetypes. As a communicator, I feel like companies, they need to choose how is the tune of their brand, the archetypes that they're going to use. And as much more from the 12 main archetypes that we have, this company can explore, more they will connect with different type of people.
That's interesting. So there are a few things. How do you find this face? Is it, for example, the founder himself? Is it an employee, or is it a professional micro influencer that you cooperate with?
I think in the beginning, the founder has to push it.
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't raised money yet, you got to be the first one to do it. Or if you're not the founder, you're going to find a co-founder that like maybe would do it for you. And no one better than the founder to explain and to do the first trainings of the product. But at some point, you got to start connecting with people that are already promoting your competitors. It's way better for you to be selling this area, like let's suppose we're in a shopping center. We have a place that we have the stores for clothes, and we have a place that we have like all the restaurants, the places to eat. Sometimes people are afraid of being alongside of their competitors. So they position themselves in the middle of the clothes stores, expecting that they are going to sell more because they are alone there. But everybody that is passing there is looking for clothes, is not looking for food.
Yes.
So sometimes it's better for you to see who is promoting your competitors, who is doing reviews, analysis. If you are in the music industry, what are the influencers that are talking about it? And they're going to be the best to review about your product, and you can get amazing deals. If you don't have money right away, you can do commissions, depending on the size of the influencer. You can negotiate it in many ways to unblock this. I don't know if it makes sense, but I've been in both sides.
That's a really good advice, because you can, even though it's cost some money, you can save so much time, because this influencer already has people who trusts him or her. And this influencer already knows how to present such things. So you can skip all this try and error and all this slow building of your own followers. Can we talk about archetypes a little bit deeper? That sounds very interesting. So you said you should target different archetypes. Maybe you can also say some examples.
You can see in the internet some influencers are going to be the wise one. They're going to have deep reveals. And you have the ones that are super fun, that are going to say if they like it, if they didn't, the good parts, the bad parts of the product, and they're going to make it fun. And you're also going to have the ones that are build a journey with your product and thrive. Oh, I made $10,000 with this product. And they're going to tell their journey and tell how they set the profile in the platform, how they did everything. We have the ones that are going to be more professors, educators. And even if you're trying to reach audiences from different countries, from different level of communications, like in Brazil, we have influencers that will communicate with a popular fan base in a genius way, but they wouldn't communicate with the audience of executives really well. So sometimes you gotta have content promoting and explaining your product for investors. Sometimes you gotta build content to explain your product for the users. If you can work with these different types of communicators, you're going to learn a lot.
Which advice would you give to a solopreneur or to founder who should be the face of the startup and wants to build the brand with his face? And he's maybe even doesn't know how to do it. He's a little bit maybe shy.
With content creation, it's challenging, even for those who has experience in recording videos, because it's a consistent game. So just don't put a lot of pressure in one video. Just think about the continuity of it. Just put in your mind that you're going to record like 50, 100 videos. So you don't like, oh, this video is a flop. Okay, but I already have the script and I'm already recording this. And this is already in the editing. And you know that things are going to come on top of the last failure. Oh, it's such a flop. It's such a failure, the last video. Okay, but tomorrow there's another one. So I think it's the game of the consistency that is the most challenging part of it. It's not being charismatic in front of the camera, because with all of these, you're going to get better. The difficult part of it is to keep going, and it's not keep going for 6 months. It's keep going for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And that's when it starts to get challenged.
I think one of the biggest roadblocks in this consistency over a long period of time is when you refresh the stats and they didn't skyrocket, and you look at very small numbers of views and likes, and that can be very demotivating.
Yeah, but we need some data first, even to change the strategy, because maybe you need to change the strategy. Maybe the strategy is not working. Maybe you're going to need something different. But for you to make this decision, you got at least, I'm going to do 30 and I'm going to measure and I'm going to ask people about it. I'm going to try to get reviews, qualitative, quantitative, and I'm going to discover what's not working. But if you don't produce, if you don't go through this pain of failing 20, 30 videos, you're not going to make them better.
That's so true, because it's also a practice. You can watch all the videos out there about how to create a great YouTube video. It's the same if you watched all the Michael Jordan videos, how to play basketball. You wouldn't be a professional. But if you do 100 videos, you really become really good. And of course, not mindless, just creating as many as possible, but creating a series of videos and then reviewing what is going well, what is not going well, which mistakes you do in videos you realize when you watch yourself, which can be awkward in the beginning to get used to watching yourself. But then you realize, oh, I'm saying always this and this thing, or I'm reacting in a certain way.
I feel like every area of the startup is trying to follow the track of what succeeded in the past.
Yes.
So you have this strategic planning. Oh, that is a great one. You have this management tools that I already work for so many entrepreneurs. But when it goes to content creation, I'm just going to play by my head. I'm just not going to model anyone. I'm just going to be so creative and I'm going to thrive. We need to really model these companies that are doing a great work with their brand. There's a book that is really interesting. I don't know the name in English. In Portuguese is Hobby como artista, still like an artist. You know this book? You gotta be improving your skills of how to steal ideas and making them better.
Yeah, you can't reinvent the wheel, especially if you are just starting. When you are on top of the game, then you can try something creative, something completely out of the box. But in the beginning, you are happy if you can simulate the best practices that already exist. On the other hand, I realized it can be discouraging or overwhelming when you see this professional influencers, marketing influencers, or startup influencers, and everything is perfect. The light is perfect, how confident they talk. And then you think, they are so much different, so much. I'm not playing even in the same game, and I have to compete against this kind of videos.
It's normal for us to compare with the final version. We never go through the oldest videos on YouTube and compare ourselves with their first version.
Yes.
We're only comparing with the final version, but they had to do it. They have to been through the process, and the same happens to everybody. We can't avoid the process.
Yes.
There's one sentence that I heard, and it sticks in my mind. If you have no money, have no shame. And when you are starting your startup, you don't have no money. You have to start from somewhere. You don't have money to hire people to do it. It's you. So if you have no money, you have no shame. You go there and do it. This phrase is amazing. It always keeps me going.
Yeah, what startups maybe underestimate the risk tolerance. If you are managing a big YouTube channel for a big company, especially, you are so limited. They have such strict regulations for image, for legal, for everything. So you are in a box. But as a startup founder, you can do whatever you want, because if you have 100 followers, what can happen if they don't like it?
Exactly. People should consider more about this risk mitigation in terms of content creation and realize even the content that goes wrong, sometimes it creates great promo.
Yes.
Don't be scared to fail, because sometimes it's the failure that is going to make your brand stand out.
Wow. I think it's all about authenticity. So if you are authentic and humans, real humans, not those actors, they make mistakes. They are not perfect.
Yeah.
And that can make you more approachable.
Yes, it's all part of what we were talking about, like the archetype. If you know that your brand very serious and it's going to talk about within my financial market, you got to position yourself coherent. But if you have a more youth type of a brand, then you can definitely have more fun.
Even very serious professions like CEO, managers, and maybe even accountants, even they enjoy entertaining content. Of course, you shouldn't overdo it, but all humans, they don't want just to read boring stuff, numbers and facts and lists of features. I see it on LinkedIn. It's a business professional network, but people are not writing CVs all the time.
Actually, you're right, because right now when you were talking about this topic, I remember many brands in Brazil, including the finance brands. We have a channel called Me Poupe, where she teaches people finances with such a funny taste. We have Primo Rico in Brazil too, which is a channel that the founder explores a lot his personal life. So he has tours about how much I expend in my mansion, how much I expend with the furniture for my mansion. And he does all these bills and makes this sound as an investment class. We have brands that need this serious way of communicating, sometimes doctors, sometimes the finance world. But if you feel like your brand can explore different archetypes, it's the best way to connect with more people.
We have been talking about video. Would you also recommend other type of content? Of course, not on YouTube, but on LinkedIn or Instagram.
I'm not the best person to talk about LinkedIn content. I haven't put in much time on it, but I've seen some creators in YouTube producing type of contents that would feel like an ebook, that you're receiving something for free, or blog posts with some content with value information. LinkedIn is no different than other platforms. If you bring value information, people will value you back. So it's just don't share, oh, I did this, look at my company in this event, just all the time. Just try to bring some value about your industry, about the technologies that you're working for. What will people that will consume from you would be interesting? What will people that are doing network with you would be interesting on. And LinkedIn, it's a bit more simple than the others, but still like the same.
You mean in simple in terms of entertainment value, effects, and you can be more informative than entertaining and it still work.
No, just go to ChatGPT and write some basic information about, oh, I wanted to share this and this, and create a LinkedIn post, and boom, is there. You don't have to think about recording, setting lights, and
Yes.
but the part of bringing value is the same. Writing the content, we already have tools that can speed it up this process.
How to succeed on Instagram? Maybe we can explore that a little bit.
On Instagram, I think Instagram, you have to be really focused on why are you doing this for? What you're going to sell. So is it publicity? So then it's one strategy. You have your own product. It's another strategy. Because if you don't have a why on Instagram, it's kind of difficult to thrive organically, because organically you need a lot of content, a lot of consistency in high quality content. And you also, if your strategy is based on selling your products, you're going to probably invest some money in Facebook ads. For me, what I did was I always invested on Facebook ads, and I was promoting my courses with creative pieces. I will be rolling ads the entire year with courses that would be open the entire year. So I would have people always following and wanting to know who I was through the ads, and that would make my following base grow. But I had products. Since the beginning, I had at least one product.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, I think, because otherwise I've seen it with other clients. If you don't already have a big followership, then you invest so much time into creating content and it's visible for such a small group of people and it's not worth it. But if you create ads, then you can really target precisely, and suddenly it's not that even expensive to have quite a great visibility.
It's crazy the amount of data they have. They can inform you what is the people that are watching your videos 50%, 70%. And then in the second campaign that you do, you just track those people, which makes cheaper for you to invest and really sell your courses. And I can imagine now that Meta is investing with AI and making it sound like you have an assistant, that you have a friend. They were going to have so much access to our data, how we think, what we need. And I can't imagine how it's going to change, especially for the industry, people that are working with ads. I feel it's going to be more and more automatic, tracking the right people for your brand, because they have already the information about the words that you've been tracking. Sometimes you are talking about like, oh, buying a purse with your friend, and then it shows up some ads about this exact purse. It's crazy the amount of data that they have, and we gotta use that. If it's in our power to use that in our advantage to sell our products, we need to experiment and try it on.
Which kind of content works best on Instagram and also Meta ads?
Yeah, for Meta ads, I was always doing short content, videos. I almost never promoted photos with a narrative very concise, very appealing about the product, reaching the pain of my user, like one specific target at a time. So if I was tracking the users from a specific city or a specific age, I will record an ad talking directly to them. There was a time that I was recording 4 ads a week, at least, until I get to 100, just for one course. I was always recycling, so people wouldn't see the same thing over and over. And
you had one campaign, or did you have always separate campaigns?
Several campaigns, and I would have the continuity of one ad after the other. So if you receive the first ad, then you're going to receive a second ad that is different, and then you're going to receive another ad that is different. If you think about the user experience, receiving the ads is the way to go when you are deciding what are you going to record for your ads. Just think about their experience. Oh, they saw you the first time. Okay, they got to know you. It was like, hi, my name is da-da-da. I do this and this and that. I have this and this and this to sell. Boom. They see you for the second time. It's a different date. Think about like if it was a date. It's a different date. You probably know a little bit more about them. You know that they are an artist, that they released their track already, that they are looking for this type of content to promote their music, that they don't know how to do it on their own.
Would you give some valuable advice to them or just trying to sell in all of those videos?
I recorded so many because I probably have done it all. I had ads that I was going outside of my freezer. Hey, artists, are you still in the freezer waiting for a record label to allow you to release? And I had ads that I would be pouring coffee and I would like be telling the text until the coffee spills over, and I'll be maintaining the text going. I would have so many entertaining ways of saying my message.
But it's more promotional message to promote the course.
Yeah, always
Mhm.
promoting because you have
Yes, yes.
short time, like 30 seconds, a
Yes,
minute.
Did you target only your followers or also extended target audience on Meta ads?
Now you make me remember one part of our strategy, which was I would spend like 1 month or 2 months just spreading out the content that I produced. It's money that wouldn't have a way to go back to me. It was lost money, let's say, let's put it like this. Money just to educate my audience, just to try to get more followers and try to reach out more people. I was targeting first followers, which was the warmer audience, then lookalike, and then the cold audience, which was the audience that we were setting up by interests. Oh, this people is interesting in Spotify, has some interested on YouTube or content creation. First followers, second lookalikes, third by interests.
Yeah, it's all about warming up the audience. If you already have the warm audience who already knows you, then it's like the low-hanging fruit. What about YouTube? What could you advise there?
YouTube is such a long-term game that I don't know if ads would make a lot of sense in the strategy. YouTube, it has more to do with building relationship with your audience and just being consistent. Every time that I try to go like, oh, I'm going to do once a week, I failed. Just by the idea of doing once a week, you already know you're gonna fail. So yeah, just try to find your pace. I don't know what you think about it. If you would do campaigns for your YouTube channel, or if you would do more organically.
Yeah, I prefer to include campaigns because the watch time that you pay is pretty affordable. And for me, the important thing is that people are watching my content and get familiar with me, because otherwise you create all this content and very few people watch it, and you invest so much money into content, so much time. And if you invest half of that, what you would invest in content, in if you invested it in ads, then you would reach much more with that. Why do you see that Instagram ads are more effective than YouTube ads?
It's more expensive to take people out of YouTube. If we're talking about the metrics that we have to keep it low for you to keep rolling your campaigns and making your product, depending on the value of your product, affordable, and YouTube, it becomes a challenge. But it becomes your friend when you're doing really educated the content that you are promoting your content, your products in the middle. So if you're doing your promo in the middle of a video, so maybe just don't take people out of YouTube, just keep doing it's more like a conversation, it's more building relationships. Sometimes the connections that you're going to make on YouTube is going to stick more with you. People would spend more time with you, they have a deeper relationship with you. But in terms of conversion rate, Instagram, it's crazy. I would like one of my first releases, it was crazy because the music industry had a shutdown in the pandemic and I had lost a lot of clients. Clients were asking for the money back from the concerts that would be canceled. And I would have to close my office in Sao Paulo. I would have to deliver my apartment back and go back to my mom's place in the countryside of Sao Paulo. And I was completely lost. And then I decided to do this first online course, did the promos, did the ads, and my ROI was 7 per 1. I had 1,000 reais, which is ridiculous. Like that I said, like, I'm going to put this on 1,000 reais for the game. And I made 7,000.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah. So it was not much. It's like $200, something like this, like 200 and something dollars. But it got to 7 times in a month. So I said, that's great. That's inspiring. Let's keep doing. Let's keep raising.
If you advertise on Meta, do you also include Facebook? You can choose the channels. You can also do automatic, where you let Meta choose whether Facebook or Instagram. But you can also choose just Meta. And you can also choose just certain locations in Meta or Facebook.
I was always doing very specific campaigns. And Facebook in Portugal, here where I am now, like it's super used still. But
Wow.
in Brazil, it's getting dead and dead.
Yes.
Yeah, and my audience, that was artists, young artists, they were primarily on Instagram. So while I'm talking to you, I'm remembering the strategies from years ago, from 3, 4 years ago.
It's also changing quite fast. Now Meta Ads offers completely automatic campaigns where you don't need to choose the target audience and it chooses for you with AI magic. Have you tried actually TikTok? Everyone is talking about it. Just
TikTok, people are doing it in such an easy way. It's basically people are in bed holding their phone, just scrolling, and you don't have to produce a content that is well made, well produced. You just put your phone and just talk like you're talking with only one person. Just give whatever the content that you have, just give it in the simplest form. TikTok is not complicated. We are making it complicated. I think the problem with our generation is like we are super attached to our Instagrams, to our profiles. We spend so much time in making it perfect. And if something goes down, something that goes right, we're just traumatizing, thinking that everybody is watching this failure online, that everybody's paying attention at your account, but no one is. No one is not even in your account. They're in their feed. And if they didn't like, they pass. And they don't even remember you. You don't remember the creators that you like.
that's why it's kind of a hamster wheel. If you stop creating content, you will not get so much visibility organically, usually with many of those platforms. Which other advice would you give in general for building a brand for startups?
I feel like one thing that I did right was documenting. The idea of the brand and the way you do is like when you're doing content creation for personal brands, like your style of doing your content will show up for you, will appear, the way you're registering things. Maybe you're gonna see that you are making people test your app, and then you record it, they testing your app. So it's like a form of content. Like, hey, I stop people in the street and I make them test my app and I record them like this.
Wow, so simple.
It's so simple. Just try to make this organically natural type of
Yeah.
registering the experiences of your startup, and maybe you're going to see your format coming.
Thank you so much, Mia. Would you like our audience to do something like connecting with you on social platform?
Yes, if you want to know a little bit more about how to build a brand, I have a lot of tips for you on my Instagram, Mia Bastos Official. And we can just please connect with me on LinkedIn and just say hi, and we can explore ideas. Maybe you can come to one of the workshops that I do it in Lisbon. And I hope to receive you here too, Will.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Mia.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Will. It was amazing.